Welcome back, everyone, to the Librarian with Ludus Infinium, and we are doing more Gladius because Radius is not updated yet for me to continue my Chaos campaign. And I have a fun topic for everyone today. Real quick, let me just place that there, that there. That's looking like all I'm going to be able to do. The 588th Night Bomber Aviation Regiment of the Soviet Union, affectionately known in in German as die Nachthexen, and in English as the Night Witches. Sorry, my German is a bit rusty. I haven't used it in 5 years. So anyway, the Night Witches. You know, I'll say this. There's a lot of controversy about women in the military. But, they should kill that right now. Because this was an, if not completely all-female bomber group, it was nearly all-female. And they have bigger balls than some of the men I know. They would get close to their target, turn off the engines, glide down, release their bombs, hit the engines, and fly off. And the reason they were called the Night Witches is because it was reported as sounding like broomsticks. So apparently this was a really good way for stealth bombing missions. Apparently it worked very well as well. And, you know, here's my thing. This goes around a lot, and not just, actual real world shit, but also in... Smack it hard. It also, you see it in different communities as well, and I've seen this in the Warhammer community. There's not enough, there's not enough, women doing stuff. There's not enough, there's not enough diversity. Well, first off, especially talking about war, no, there's not going to be much diversity as far as gender is concerned, because it to this day is still considered like there's still a hesitation to put women on the front lines. I myself believe anyone who wants to serve in any capacity should have every right to serve. But at the same time, if the infant, for instance, and this is not true, it's relatively the same across the board for at least the Army, the U.S. Army. If, if an infantry unit's physical requirements were different than, say, an engineering unit, then if a woman wants to be in the infantry unit, she needs to meet the physical standards of that infantry unit. After that, I mean, cool. Let women be in the infantry unit if they can meet those standards. But I don't dictate this. Again, this also goes back to my belief that anyone who wants to serve in certain capacity, as long as they can meet the requirements, should be able to serve in that capacity. And I believe it is an absolute disservice saying that people can't. I want you. And go. Go here. Keep all of you here. Yeah, come big daddy chop. I can't hold position until... Okay. That's because they're not hurt. So, and that's just my opinion of it. And that does not mean it is the right opinion. what? Execute. Okay. And by far, there are many different viewpoints on it, and I respect that. Yeah. I won't put it back to sleep. And I respect the different viewpoints. I really do. It's just a matter of how do we respect the viewpoints, but also respect the individuals as well. Because I believe if you want to serve your country, you should have every right to. I believe, and this is something I firmly believe wholeheartedly, that if you have, say, someone who wants to legally immigrate, and I'm going to use America as an example because that's where I live. If you have someone who wants to immigrate legally to America, and then they want to be in the armed services, I believe after their armed service, whether they've done it or not, they should be granted citizenship. Whether they've actually completed the test they need to. Like, for instance, say they have a green card. If you join the military, 2-year minimum, boom, you're a citizen. Don't need to do the test, don't need to do whatever. You've proven that you want to be here, you want to fight for this country. You should have every right to live here. At the same time, I'm also very much in favor of mandatory military service because I think that people should at least have the... I think people should have the desire to want to stand up for their country. I do. I really do. And that doesn't make it the right opinion. It's just my opinion. And it's something that I've always believed. And I think that, honestly, if we did go back to something like, say, the draft, we would be able to have more national pride. Because honestly, that's something I believe that America has little to none of at this point. And I'm getting, honestly, quite tired of it. I think it's ridiculous that people can't say, I'm proud of, the country I live in. And I think it's just, well, quite honestly, a fucking disgrace. But, no, I don't want that to. It is something that bothers me to no end. Like, my thought on it, if you don't like the country you live in, or you don't like, in the case of the United States, you don't like the state that you live in, move. If you're not happy, then don't keep yourself in that situation. I mean, it's harsh. Well, actually, no, it's really not that harsh. But yeah, I can understand how people could perceive it as harsh. It's just, I mean, it's the truth. You might not like it, but it is what it is. You don't like living somewhere? Don't live there. They really do next to no damage for those. You two really are fucking useless. I don't know how to feel about this, because I'm having problems killing these things now. So back there. Librarian. Fortress expansion. But, I mean, it's... And back to the original point where I was going with, the people complain about, there's not enough inclusion of, women doing certain things either from a military perspective or, in the case that, I'm going to talk about, is in like a fantasy or a science fiction perspective, for instance, Warhammer 40k. I'm sick and fucking tired of seeing women... We need more women to do stuff. Like, there have been great women who have done stuff in 40k. Freddie Keeler. Look at Mercedes Holliton. If it hadn't been for either one of them, the Horus Heresy would have turned out much different. If it hadn't turned out for Freddie Keeler and Nathaniel Garrow, the Imperial cult probably wouldn't be what it is today, and probably wouldn't be spread out through the Space Marines the way it is. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, women have done stuff. And then you have the Sisters of Battle and Sisters of Silence, which are amazing factions when you really dig into their lore. But I was like, nah, we need more. Like, why? So, for instance, the argument I always hear is, we need a female Space Marine. Okay, cool. Let's say you actually somehow find some ass-backwards way to explain it in the lore, because you can't explain it in the lore. It's not in any sane, rational way. And you say, okay, let's have female Space Marines. Cool. So what about the Sisters of Battle? What about the Sisters of Silence? What about female Imperial Guard groups? Or at least female Imperial Guard characters? You have now just essentially downplayed all of those characters just to have female Space Marines. You are cutting off your nose to spite your face. Because you can't say, well, we already have these great characters who are female and who have done amazing things. And just be like, okay, I'm cool with this. What's that? Okay. Don't know what that means, but okay. But no, so in all seriousness, that's what it is. Yeah, there was a, I can't think of her name. It was a World Eater, it was a human assigned to the World Eaters. And I don't know if it was a ship's captain or what, but she stood up to Karn and Angron. And that takes balls. I don't care who you are. Most people could not stand up to Karn and Angron and bitch them out, but she sure as shit could. So, back off the whole we need inclusion bullshit. We need more females. Like, no. Take the great females you already have and build on them. I firmly agree. Let's have more stories of sisters. Well, let me correct this. Let's have more good stories of the Sister of Battle. Let's have more good stories about the Sister of Silence. Let's have more good stories involving, characters like the World Eater female. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in 40k she's dead, but we can do stories in 30k. That's, they're still doing the Horus Heresy books. There's plenty of opportunity to do stories for her. Yeah. Who's that other, it's in the book Flight of the Eisenstein. It's, a commander of the Sisters of Silence. Do a story based on her, like her early days into the Sisters of Silence. That would be cool as hell. You know how much people would complain about it? They would. You know why? Because it would be a good story. And it wouldn't involve like this, well, we just want it to be female because it needs to be female. Like, no, it's an actual cool story about a woman. This is a really big misconception. People think that if you have, women or, characters of different races, it will instantly make the story better. No, it's on the writer to make the story good. You can have a story with different races of people, with different genders of people, and it'd still be a complete and total shit show. That's on the writer. Let's move you up here. Let's move you down here. I'm gonna hurt you. But no, so, I mean, like, it's something you could very easily accomplish. It's just, people don't, that would be so fucked up. It's funny, but it's fucked up. That's something you could very easily do, but it's like, people don't want to see that. They just want, I want you to appease me. Well, okay, how about this? Tell me why. Give me a good lore reason why. And if you say because of Call, I'm probably going to end up slapping someone if they were right in front of me, because that's not a good reason why. That's a horrible reason why. We came with the Primaris, so he could probably do it. Like, no. He created the Primaris because that was his job, to create the Primaris based on what the writer wanted. That's a good example of a bad storytelling, and it doesn't have to be female or people of different races. It's just bad fucking storytelling. And do I think there's potential for good stories? Yes, my chaplain, yes. Show your worth to me. Do I think there's potential for good stories for, like Sisters of Battle, Sisters of Science? Again, of course. I especially think if you do the early years of that commander, who I cannot remember her name for the life of me, that would be a really cool thing to explore. But no one listens to me, so yeah, you know what? Fuck it, I'll deal with it as it goes. And like, from what I've seen, most of the people who argue this point either have no fucking clue about the lore, or they're like, well, you can just rewrite it. Like, why? Why rewrite the lore for something so dumb? It just doesn't make any... What is this? It just doesn't make sense to me, honestly. And boop, 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 boop. And honestly, I find it a little bit insulting for someone who I do enjoy the lore. It's just kind of like, you might like the lore, but we're going to rewrite it just to appease these people. Like, fucking why? That makes no sense to me. Especially someone who's enjoyed the lore like me for a decade and a half. Why? That makes no sense. That's just rewriting it just to appease to a very small percentage of people. And it's like, but if we don't bend over backwards for them, like, yeah, if you don't bend over backwards for them, then okay, you lose. Ooh, shit. You might lose a couple of people. You might, relatively speaking, a couple of people. But do it, and you're more likely to lose. Is that the frag? Yeah, that's the frag. But do it, and you're more likely... Holy shit, that was cool. You're more likely to lose more people just because more people are saying, hey, don't do this, or, hey, we get that you want this, but how about if instead... Fuck. How about if instead we actually... Didn't do anything, did it? Well, crap. How much longer did I go on those? Okay. I have 5 turns. Hopefully they'll survive. But I mean, like, maybe they could say, hey, okay, I get what you want. It's just in the lore that's not likely to happen. How about this compromise? How about if we say, we'll do more with the Sisters of Battle, Sisters of Silence. We'll do more with Female Imperial Guard. We'll do more, stuff like this. We'll do more with, because this is a thing now, because I don't understand why, we'll do more with non-white races. Which, if I go into talking about the Legion, and how there are non-white Legionnaires, I might throw up, because I have talked about that before, and it's just so stupid having to talk about it. It actually really does infuriate me to some extent. It's just something that you've got to be willfully blind not to see. And I don't understand. Now my chaplain is showing his potential. I was going to have you shoot him, but they already got shot. But anyway, I think that was a little bit controversial, but I think it was also a good history lesson, especially about the Night Witches, because I'll say this. You're not getting my ass in a plane. I'm deathly afraid of heights. Me getting in a plane is probably never happening. I'll probably go until the day I die without ever getting in a plane. But they would cut off their engines, glide down with no engines, bomb, and then turn their engine on and go back up. That takes a lot of discipline, and a lot of balls. So, I mean, that's just an amazing story right there. So, it's something that I think we could all take a little bit away from. Maybe if we could stop focusing on, we need this or that and just focus on the good things that are already there, or ways we can improve upon the good things. Because let's be honest, there's always room for improvement in places. And we could do that, but we don't have to go to an extent that we don't have to go to an extent of where it's not really the right analogy, but the cure is worse than the disease. Which in this case, the disease being the perspective that there's something completely wrong with it. Okay, if there's something wrong with it, let's try and fix it, but let's not make the fix worse. And I think that's where we're at now, is trying to figure out that line. But, hey, that's just my 2 cents. But this has been The Librarium with Ludus Infinium. I hope you have all enjoyed. And I'll say this, we talked about some deep stuff today. If you ever want to talk about deep stuff, or if you got something on your mind that you just want to get off your chest, you need to vent to someone, join the Discord. We have a bunch of great people. If you ever need just a vent, DM me. There are plenty of people that you can talk to there. Just let us know, and we'll be more than happy to be an ear for anyone who needs to be listened to. Because words are hard. But that being said, if you did like the conversation's really just me talking. But if you did like what I was talking about and you want to see more of it, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know some topics that y'all want to hear about. But with all that being said, I hope everyone has a very wonderful day.